Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest on the cold and snow that we do have at the moment, with widespread yellow snow and ice warnings issued for many western and even some southern parts, and we do have an amber warning issued for snow through Scotland, as we're going to see frequent heavy snow showers pushing into the north and the west over the course of the rest of this afternoon and this evening and overnight, as the coldest air for this spell does arrive, and that cold air is accompanied by the most instability as well, and you can already see on the live radar a lot of heavy showers are pushing it in from the north and the west. Now some of these are still showing a bit of rain over out in the ocean, but with this colder air that we do now have pushing in, pretty much all precipitation will be falling as snow quite widely, with temperatures already only hovering around freezing today, with many seeing temperatures dropping well below freezing tonight. We're expecting a lot of this snow to potentially stick and cause problems, and that's why we've got these widespread warnings issued, because even if you only see one or two of these heavy wintry showers and only see 15-20 minutes of snow, it could still cause significant disruption over the course of this afternoon and the evening. Now we'll run through the live radar and see what's going on at the moment as these heavy wintry showers start to arrive. We'll look at the weather warnings, as we do have multiple warnings issued for today and tomorrow. We'll look at the UKV, look at the latest for the precipitation and the temperature for the next few days, and then we'll have a look at the longer range, look at the GFS, GEM, ECMWF and the ensembles, as it is looking likely we actually do remain cold beyond the end of this week. Now the coldest air that we do have at the moment is going to subside by around Friday, Saturday time, but higher pressure is going to be building in, and it's actually going to start to try and pull in a bit of an easterly flow, keeping us average or maybe even slightly below average, especially further southwards and eastwards, as we're pulling in cool continental air. So yeah, next week it doesn't look likely we're going to be seeing a big warm up at all. Temperatures, yes, may recover to the mid to high single digits, but it's going to feel pretty chilly and remain with overnight frosts. Now, we did post a video earlier today, having a look at the latest on the stratosphere, as it is looking likely we do see a major warming in the stratosphere towards the end of the month, and maybe even a major sudden stratospheric warming, which could really spice up the weather as we head into February and give us even more severe colder weather, with some more severe blocking to our north. So if you are interested to see what the longer range outlook is and what February could shape up with, do check out that video, as it is looking like a real possibility that the second half of winter could be holding quite a bit of colder weather, with what was going on at the moment. The cooler weather we're going to see next week, just in terms of frost and fog, and then potentially the southern stratospheric warming forcing us even colder into February. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. So if we do start on the live radar, you can see the frequent heavy wintry showers now pushing into the north and the west. Many areas through Northern Ireland and western and southern Republic of Ireland have seen accumulating snow. Nothing too significant, but maybe 2 or 3 centimetres in places, and that could really build up through parts of Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland over the course of the next 6 to 12 hours or so. We've also got heavy frequent wintry showers through Scotland, and you can see this more prolonged area of wintriness is associated with the small low pressure system. That is why we've got an amber warning issued, as this all going to turn to snow through northern and eastern Scotland, and potentially could dump 5 to 10 centimetres widely, maybe even more, and it will track down the east coast, maybe through central England. It does look likely it will peter out through northern England, maybe East Anglia, but it could give some snow, or at least falling snow in places through this evening and overnight. And then we've got another area of interest, is the northwest. We've got heavy wintry showers starting to form out in the Irish Sea, and these are just going to get bigger and more intense and more widespread, and we're going to see frequent snow showers pushing into northwest England, maybe even drifting to parts of the Midlands as well, and also frequent showers through southern Wales and southwest England. If you are in eastern England, there could be some showers that do drift through later on this evening, but we're not expecting anything too frequent. The biggest issues here will probably be ice, as with clearer skies, those temperatures will plummet tonight, probably down to -5 or lower once again. Now, if we do put on the temperatures, as of around middays, this sort of should be the peak temperatures of the day coming up to now, and you can see it's widely around freezing, or maybe hovering slightly above or slightly below, and that's why whenever any of these wintry showers arrive, it will be falling as snow and likely will stick in many places. Even areas in the far south into the London area are seeing temperatures in these lighter blues, indicating temperatures around the freezing point, and it just generally is very cold at the moment. Now, if we do put on the latest for the past 24-hour snowfall, again, this is radar estimates. It's not the most accurate because it's about falling snow. You can see where we've had snow at the moment. We've had a bit down the east coast. We had a few showers tracking through central England, through the Midlands yesterday. We actually saw a bit of settling snow. I saw an image from East Midlands Airport where we saw some temporary accumulations, and we saw some falling snow further south and eastwards. Again, this is excluding any snow we saw yesterday morning. This is only the last 24 hours, so from yesterday afternoon onwards. We saw some quite heavy snow in the southwest, a lot of falling snow, and a lot of sort of slushy, sleety stuff, and saw some accumulating snow over the higher ground here, and we have seen frequent showers into South Wales, and then we're going to see even more showers into northwest England, but could be even more significant in places here. Isle of Man seeing a lot of snow there, and as I said, Northern Ireland, parts of Republic of Ireland seeing a lot of snow, and parts of Southern Ireland, and then of course Scotland, where these areas will see increasing amounts of snow, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the whole of Scotland covered in blues here, showing falling snow, and areas to the north seeing a lot of purples with significant snow. Now, if we do go over to the weather warnings, you can see a whole array of weather warnings issued at the moment. If we do start in the south, you can see we've got a yellow ice warning issued from 6 p.m. today until 10 a.m. tomorrow, and that is again because we've got a lot of moisture on the ground, a lot of rainfall and a bit of snowfall over the past 24 to 36 hours, and it means anywhere where that still lingers, it will freeze rapidly tonight and cause icy stretches. As I said, following the very recent wet weather, sub-zero temperatures overnight will mean that any water seeping onto roads will continue to freeze, leading to icy stretches. Again, high likelihood lower end of the impact matrix. We have a snow and ice warning issued for parts of southern Wales and southwest England, again from 6 p.m. tonight until midday tomorrow. So, yes, it's this evening where we're going to be seeing these big wintry showers. Again, a few snow showers will affect these areas overnight into Wednesday morning. Accumulations of a couple centimetres are likely at lower levels, with higher ground seeing as much as 5 to 10 centimetres. And again, icy stretches likely to form high likelihood lower end of the impact. And then we've got this widespread snow and ice warning issued for Northern Ireland, Wales, northwest England, and into parts of southern and western Scotland as well. Snow showers and ice stretches may cause some disruption, and it's coming into force right now, actually at midday. Snow showers will affect these areas through Tuesday afternoon and continue in many places overnight and into Wednesday morning. Accumulations of a couple centimetres are likely at low levels again. Snow will be sticking, with higher ground anywhere in the region potentially seeing 5 to 10 centimetres and up to 15 centimetres, perhaps in Northern Ireland and in parts of middle or northern Wales. And again, icy stretches. High likelihood, very high likelihood, lower end of the impact. Again, if we start to see these snow showers band up, I wouldn't be surprised to perhaps see an amber warning issued. And then we have a widespread snow and ice warning issued for Scotland, and it was issued yesterday afternoon and expires tomorrow at 9 a.m. Snow and hail showers, heavy at times, bringing further accumulations. And again, away from immediate coast 2 to 5 centimetres, and above 100 metres 10 to 20 centimetres. But I think that more applies to yesterday, with today pretty much all of the precipitation will be falling as snow. And then we have this amber warning issued that was issued earlier today, and again from 3 p.m. this afternoon until midnight tonight. Heavy snow will lead to travel disruption on Tuesday afternoon and evening. And as I said, snow showers will turn heavy and prolonged at times across North and Highland areas through Tuesday afternoon before extending southwards into Grampian on Tuesday evening. Accumulations of 10 to 15 centimetres are possible in places in a short space of time, and snow will be drifting in strong to gale force north to northwesterly winds. Isolated thunderstorms are possible with lightning strikes an additional hazard. Showers will turn to rain or sleet around coasts later, with ice developing on untreated surfaces. Again, I would doubt that a little bit. I'd say most of this will be falling as snow, but maybe very coastal areas could see, or right immediately on the coast could see some more sort of rain mixing in with that. So you can see a wide array of snow and ice warnings here. Again, pretty much anywhere in the west and the north is going to see wintry showers. Some areas it could be quite significant, and to be honest, even areas in the Midlands here that are not included in the warning, or even northeast England, could see some showers drift in at times, and that area that gives the amber warning will drift down the east coast. It will reduce in intensity, as we'll see in the UKV in a minute, but it could still cause some falling snow, and of course falling onto frozen surfaces, it will readily accumulate. So even if you only see 10 or 15 minutes of moderate snowfall, you could wake up with slick, icy, perhaps snowy surfaces for a time. And of course, we can see into Wednesday, we've still got widespread snow and ice warnings issued, again, mainly for the morning, and no new warnings issued yet, but there could be more snow and ice warnings issued after that. But it does look likely the instability does reduce through Wednesday afternoon into Thursday as the northerly wind does start to get cut off. Now, if we do have a look at the UKV and have a look at the latest precipitation and temperature over the course of the next 5 days, now you can see over the course of this afternoon, as I'm recording this, those snow showers are starting to push in, but they will get beefier and more widespread over the course of this afternoon. As you just watch, it's around 3-4 p.m. as this video will be published, you'll see even more widespread showers pushing in and even coming quite far inland in places, and they will just continue to increase in intensity. And just look at that, heavy snow showers quite widely through the Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland, into parts of Western England, Northwest England, especially around that Manchester, Liverpool area, into Lancashire. We could see a lot of snow falling there, not from any sort of major snow band, but from just frequent snow showers peppering those areas. The southwest could see some snow, and then you can see the more significant snow through eastern and northern Scotland. That will track down the east coast, and it could give some winteriness in places. You can see it does disintegrate though, and you can see around 1-2 a.m. those snow showers do come very far inland through the Midlands and parts of Wales. So I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe even areas outside of the warning area to maybe see a few centimetres of snow potentially there. And even some of those could drift further south and eastwards. Again, we don't know how much instability will be there. Again, it's very difficult to forecast exactly how long these showers will last. But at the moment, the UKV has it coming into sort of the spine of England. Beyond that, through the morning, those showers will slowly start to disintegrate, but still pushing frequent showers in, becoming less inland, especially through England and Scotland, but still through Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland, still a lot of showers pushing in. And you can see through Wednesday afternoon, still some showers in places, but they do reduce in intensity and in severity and in sort of widespread nature. Weather fronts tries to push in through Thursday morning, but as we'll see, it doesn't make a lot of progress. Could give a bit of winteriness on its leading edge, but again, all depending on the upper air temperatures. And you can see through Friday, another weather front tries to push in, a bit of snow on its leading edge, and is trying to push away the cold air. But a trend with Sin is that cold air is going to hang on all the way, potentially through the weekend, especially in east areas. Thicker clouds showing weather fronts trying to push in, and precipitation, as it just comes in, it just sort of peters away against the high pressure block to our east, and some areas in the east are going to remain very cold. You can see the upper air temperatures, milder air does get in, but it gets highly moderated to around freezing at 850 ppm in many areas for central and eastern areas, and in the far east and southeast we still stay in that pretty cold air mass, and you can see the dew points emphasise that very well, still well below freezing in the east, indicating cold air will be hanging on. And as we see into next week, higher pressure building in with this could even start to pull that air back in from the east. Now, if we do put on the 2 metre temperatures for this, you can see this afternoon temperatures hardly getting above freezing in many areas, maybe 2 or 3 degrees in the far south, but most areas around freezing to 2 degrees. Through tonight, those temperatures will rapidly drop below freezing, maybe holding above freezing in a few points, or just around freezing really, with thicker cloud. And as I said, further south and eastwards, we're going to see the coldest temperatures, where we see lack of cloud and wintry showers. Through Wednesday morning into the afternoon, temperatures will rise slightly higher, maybe 4 or 5 degrees, but wherever we see any snow on the ground, it will be colder than that. Through Wednesday evening to Thursday, widespread frost developing once again, maybe -2 to -5 degrees quite widely, and then through Thursday afternoon, again, another cold day widely, 2 to 4 degrees, even colder further northwards, and for parts of Northern Ireland where we have snow cover. Through Thursday evening into early hours of Friday, again, another freezing cold night, widely -2 to -4, and then Friday in the day starts to turn milder from the south and the west, maybe 5 to 10 degrees there, but further northwards and eastwards still hovering around freezing on Friday, and into Friday Friday night into Saturday, again, freezing cold with a lack of cloud. Temperatures could plummet down to -7, -8 or lower. And into Saturday afternoon, milder in the west, maybe 9 to 10 degrees, but further eastwards, only 2 or 3. And that continues all the way into Sunday, where overnight temperatures into Sunday morning could still be -2 or -4 in the far east. Very cold. Further westwards, getting milder. But again, it is all moderated. And of course, these subtle shifts can be slightly different at the 5-day time frame. And I'm expecting that cold air to even come back in, as we'll see on the models in a minute, as easterly winds potentially could be coming back in for the end of January. So if you do have a look at the longer range, you can see now all the big low pressure over top of us with very cold air, giving us all those frequent heavy snow showers over the course of the next 24 hours. Eventually, westerly winds trying to push back in, but high pressure just gently built into the colder air. And as we head into next week, we actually do start to pull in a bit of an easterly flow. Now, if we run back to that, you can see westerly winds try to push in, but the high pressure just builds over the top of us. And actually, in the far southeast, we do pull in a bit of a northeasterly there. Quite cold towards the middle of the week. And again, it will just keep us average or below average. I'm not promising anything bitterly cold, simply because the air to our east isn't that cold right now, but it will be pulling in continental air, dry, cold continental air that will be giving frosts overnight and temperatures in the day pretty chilly. That continues all the way into the longer term, keeping those easterly flows. And actually, right towards the end of the run, we try to build that high pressure up towards Greenland and maybe northerly winds, but right at the end of the run, it sort of gets cut off. But a very weird setup here with a very far southerly tracking jet stream and cold air spilling out to the North Atlantic, but for the UK, we're just on the milder side of this. So yeah, in the longer term, going quite blocked and very interesting in the North Atlantic there. So yeah, beyond this cold spell towards the weekend, we're not going back to the ordinary flat westerly winds. It's going to remain fairly cold. Average conditions, especially through central and eastern areas, could even be below average. Further westwards could be slightly milder at times. But yeah, it continues to look potentially very interesting and maybe even quite cold, continuing in the longer term. Not snowy cold, but just generally frost and fog in the longer term. If you look at the GM now, see how that does compare. Again, a northerly wind coming in. As the high pressure builds in, we see brief easterly winds in the far southeast, but a westerly flow trying to push in the north and west. And it could mean we see a bit of a two halves. We can see milder air in the north and the west, colder air in the south and the east, and we continue to pull in those easterly winds all the way to day 10. But really just sat under the high pressure. Look at the upper air temperatures, and it is pretty average or above average for this time of year. But we're under an inversion, so it's likely to be quite cold actually towards the surface. We put on those 2-meter temperatures, you can see getting towards freezing for many areas there under the centre of the high. The dew point is pretty cold as well. You see dew points in central areas around freezing, just showing you that yes, we can have warm upper air temperatures, but still see an inversion at the surface where conditions are quite a bit colder. If we look at the ECMWF now, again, look at the pressure charts from this. Again, a northerly flow coming in at the moment, remaining pretty cold. And we start to see easterly winds trying to push in the longer term. Again, nothing too substantial, but just keeping us average or maybe slightly below average in the south and the east. And right at the extended range, we see this high pressure having a go at building towards Greenland, like the GFS did. But the GFS didn't quite pull it off. And here, the ECMWF tries to get towards Greenland, tries to plunge another northerly wind back in around 10 days' time. So again, very interesting. None of the major models here are showing the westerly stormy weather that we have had over the past few weeks. They're all keeping us under higher pressure and trying to push that high pressure to a position where it could even start to introduce colder air once again, whether it is slightly colder air from the east giving us frost and fog, whether it is a proper northerly wind returning as again in the longer term. As we see in the ensembles in a minute, some ensemble members even start to pull in bitterly cold air in from the east as well. Now, if we do finish by looking at the latest ensemble members, if we do go to the GFS, that is just updating the 6 o'clock run, you can see cold over the course of the next 3, 4, 5 days, and then we see a big rise in upper air temperatures. But remember, it's built under higher pressure, where there is likely to be a bit of an inversion. But as we head towards the last few days of the month, the last sort of 4 or 5 days, we trend average or below average through the end of January, with quite a few runs going down to the -5 or lower area, again indicating upper air temperatures will be going very cold and could show that proper northerly or easterly winds returning, and it does trend colder than average. So yes, it does go briefly milder at the upper air level, but I'm expecting it not to be that mild actually at the surface. But in the longer term, it does go quite cold once again. Again, you put on this sea level pressure, big high pressure building in, and that shows again, even those warmer upper air temperatures, we're likely to see a bit of inversion. And if we put on those 2 meter dew points as well, very cold the next few days, slightly rising towards the middle of next week, but still quite a bit of spread there. And then the longer term, actually, they get a bit more concise around the freezing point, indicating quite cold air will be returning towards the end of the month and start of February. Now, if you finish by looking at the ECMWF ensembles, you can see the next few days is still very cold, trending average or above average in the sort of midterm towards the 23rd, 25th of January, this time next week. But of course, with high pressure over the top of us, maybe even a slack easterly flow, it will feel probably a lot colder than these upper air temperatures are indicating, and in the long term, trending average or below average there, with quite a few ensemble members like the GFS going -5 to -10. And again, you see the sea level pressure, much higher pressure, and look at the 2 meter temperatures. You can see they don't rise all too much above 5 or 6 degrees, which is generally average for this time of year for London. Yes, there are some members going a lot milder, and those will have more of a westerly influence there, but some are even going quite cold when that higher pressure builds in, with those surface conditions, maybe 6-7 degrees perhaps max here, and in the long term trending perhaps a little bit colder once again. And of course the precipitation is very low, indicating higher pressure will be in control. So yes, quite disruptive snowfall in northern and western areas over the course of the next 24 hours. Make sure you do keep up to date with the warnings and do stay safe up there. Again, these showers can roll in very quickly, and the best way to see if snow is on the way is to look on the live radar and see if showers are coming and are in your vicinity. And of course, do keep an eye, as I said, on the Met Office warnings as well, as those will be updated if needs be. And of course, in the longer range, it is looking likely to turn slightly milder towards the weekend, but not expecting anything ridiculously mild, generally average, maybe slightly below average actually in the south, and it's going to remain pretty chilly over the course of the next few weeks as well, with high pressure building in, and it could potentially even ridge further northwards towards the end of next week, as some of the models have hinted at, perhaps bringing us proper cold air back once again. So no real signs of any big wet and windy weather from the west, or any signs of anything particularly mild as well. So anyway, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.